I was struck by, back in the day, like the Nick Szabo idea of social scalability and the point of money when you're talking about utility. And you're talking about utility from both a micro and a macro perspective. Money should scale to allow the number and types of people, groups, transactions, relationships to be facilitated. Like that's the social scalability. And the argument for Bitcoin is it is simple and non-complex, and as a result, fair to like the greatest number of those things that should be encoded above the chain, above that level of the chain, right? However, I do agree that like there are challenges technically in some of the other like more traditional views of what scalability and Bitcoin's limitations are, but only to the extent that they frustrate that goal. So that's kind of like my North Star. It's like, that's the point of money. But you're right, there are things with Bitcoin. I mean, ultimately, like you say, if you're only doing 5 TPS or like the fees are so expensive that like it's not practical for me to self-custody under $100,000, right? Like that frustrates the social scalability because not everyone can hold it or use it to preserve purchasing power as collateral, as an accepted medium. So like, yes, that frustrates it. A lot of this, the industry today, like uses these wishy-washy words about scalability, decentralized, and so like, I find it clarifying to say like the point of money is to scale the greatest number and types of people, transactions, and relationships that can be facilitated as effectively and efficiently as possible, and increase that surface space.
Well. So there's actually another interesting thing that like opens up when you start thinking about the social aspect of it, which is at its very base, right? We started this talking about the economic finality and economic immutability of a transaction, and work-based systems creating sort of these economic finality guarantees. When we think about an attacker and we think about attacker resilience in purely an economic format, we're basically saying, you know, if we can have $1 billion a day worth of sort of security going into the chain, to sort of efficiently produce that, we need 100 billion, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of activity. And $1 billion a day is really kind of the lowest end of the threshold that even becomes moderately expensive for like the U.S. government to take down from an economic standpoint.
Yeah.
It's like the low end.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to figure out, how do I get trillions of dollars of activity? How do I get enough fees in that system to make it economically as resilient as possible? Now, the other thing that sort of opens up here is the social resilience. If this system is used by 1 million people as a speculative asset that they can YOLO into BlackRock for, attacks on that system, censorship on that system, changes to that system, relatively easy in a political world, because you're only pissing off 1 million people. You're not pissing off your voting base, so like you can still maintain sort of control and electability. But if you create a system that's used transactionally, and suddenly you're buying groceries with it, your mom's, you know, going and filling her gas tank up with it. Suddenly, if you attack that system, you're attacking the economy, you're attacking your voting base. So the more people that you have using it every day in a meaningful way creates social resilience. And without that social resilience, you're never going to win this fight.